Hey guys, welcome back. It's the next day. Working on the Jeep here. As you saw in my last video, we got the brakes all done. So basically today what the plan is to get the axles installed. I'll show you how the axles are installed. I'll try and do my best to get the camera in there and show you without trying to hit it or try and make it as smooth as I can. So anyhow, I also wanted to throw this out there and see if you leave me some comments, see if you like the first person camera or not. I wasn't sure, it was just something I experimented with. I thought, well, if I'm going to explain all this stuff, it's a lot easier if you're right there in the middle of it. Let me know if you like it or not. Your feedback just makes me want to do better stuff. Or if you have other ideas as far as suggestions, as far as what you would like to see, feel free to leave a comment below. So anyhow, I'm gonna get the axle put in, and then I'll show you how everything works inside the differential. Let's get at it. Let's get after it.
Okay, this thing's moving around a little bit because I can't get the stand out of here. It's just a little too big. So anyhow, this is the inside of the differential. This pin right here, where my finger is, it keeps, these are spider gears, so there's 4 of them in there, and that keeps that in line. So what you need to do is rotate the differential, and we'll rotate it around, and basically there's a through bolt that holds this pin into place. We need to take that out and drop the pin out, because here's the axle right here. There's the end of it. And there's the end of the other one right there. So with that pin out of the way, the axle will come in far enough, and then we can stick the C-clips in, which I'll show you in just a second. So let me rotate things around here, and I'll try and do my best to not get my fingers in the way. So I'm rotating a drive line to spin the whole drive shaft around. So there's the bottom of the pin right there. That's the bottom of the pin, and then this is the bolt that holds it into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bolt out, and then I'm going to slide this pin out. So give me just a half a second to do that, because I'm going to need both hands, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so since I spun it around, that's the pin that holds that shaft into place. So the next thing I need to do is pop this pin out, which isn't that easy, believe it or not. You'd think it would be, but it's not. Oh, come on. There you go. I usually just use the bolt to get it out. There we go. Come on now. Okay. Alright. So I got the pin out. So the next thing I need to do is spin this back around so that I can get access right here, which I'm going to do right now. It's imperative also to not spin the axles without this pin in there. If you spin the axles, then the spider gears will fall out of here, and then you got to line everything up, and it's a super pain in the butt. As long as you spin the drive line, you're totally golden, because this whole assembly will spin together. But you have to rotate this so you can get the pin out. So it's kind of one of those deals. It's like, sure, it'd be a lot easier if we could do it all at one time, but that's just not how it's designed. Okay. All right, so there we go. So here's the end of the axle. So all I need to do is push it in like that. Okay. This is a C-clip. And basically that fits right into this slot in the end of the axle. So you just slide it in like that, and then push the axle out, and it holds it in. Same thing on this side. Slide it in, and make sure it's in all the way. Boom. Just like that. Then I need to rotate this back without getting gear oil in my eye. Alright, and get this thing, wipe all the dirt off of it, and then you slide this back up in there like so. I'm assuming that it's going to be a pain in the butt going back in, so I always try to line it up the best I can, because I'm assuming I'm going to have to tap it in. Come on, you damn thing. Come on. Come on. There we go. Right like that. There we go. So, since it's hardened steel, he can hit it without having to worry about it. There it goes. And with any luck, this will slide right in. Woohoo! Look at that. Okay. And then basically tighten it up. Oops. Come on. Or get it started first, Mike. How about that? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and tighten this up, and then I'll get this tightened up, and then I'll show you how to put the drums on, adjust the brakes and all that, and we'll go from there. Okay, as a side note, since I didn't mention it while I was under there putting the pin in and doing the C-clips, any Dana 44, this just happens to be a 8 1/4 Jeep rear end, 10 bolt GM, 12 bolt GM, pretty much any C-clip rear end, they all work the same way. So that way, if you don't think this is just a Jeep only thing, it works on a whole bunch of them. The only ones it doesn't work on are, say, a full floating axle, like a 1 ton or 3/4 ton. Or some of them have a differential that drops out, like a Toyota or a 9-inch rear end, where the axle bearings press onto the axles and then they bolt into the housing. You just unbolt them, take them off, and then pull the center section out, and you can put it on the bench and work on it. I wish they did that a lot more, but hey, what are you going to do? So anyhow, I just wanted to go over that really quick, just as a side note, so that way you don't think that, oh, I can't do my Chevy 12 bolt because it's different. It's completely the same. They're identical. So anyhow, onward and upward. Okay, so next I have a decision to make. I can either put the differential cover on and seal all that up and put fluid in it, or I could put the drums on and adjust the brakes. I'm just choosing to do the drums first, just for the simple fact that the differential cover is still sitting in the Purple Power and water mixture from last night, and this drum is perfectly dry and ready to go. I still got some prep work to do on that, so I figured, what the heck, we'll just go ahead and do this real quick and show you how this works. So how this works is there's a slot. Oops. See if I can get this in there. Okay. See that slot right there on the backing plate, right here where my finger is? So there's a tool that fits in there, and all you got to do is spin this adjuster wheel. Like, see if I can do that without. And as you spin that, it separates, which makes the shoes spread out into the inside of the drum. Basically, what we want to do is just adjust this out. That's another reason why I use the anti-seize. Is you adjust these out until the brake shoes are kind of snug against the drum. You don't want it to stop it or anything like that. I typically just like to get them snugged up, then go drive it around, get the corners knocked off the shoes and everything, because these aren't perfectly round like the drum is. So once you drive around a little bit, then I usually will readjust them again. Then they should be pretty happy for a while. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and adjust away, and I will see you on the other side. All right, so I got the brakes adjusted up, and I got the differential all cleaned up, and I got the cover all cleaned up. There's two options. You can either use RTV silicone, or you can use a gasket. In this case, I'm using the gasket maker just because it seems to eat up a lot of imperfections in the metals, and since this thing's probably going to be going through mud and mud puddles and who knows how deep a water, I want to make sure this thing's sealed up, so I did opt to just use the silicone. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get this bolted up, and we'll throw some fluid in it and put the tires on and see how it feels and see if we can go for a spin. Alright guys, basically I got the rear differential cover back on, I got the brakes adjusted, and
I can't get the damn fuel plug off of the rear differential. It's got an aftermarket one, and basically it's like an Allen head, but it's a 14 millimeter. I did the old put 2 nuts on the bolt trick and broke a bolt. So I got a shorter one and I welded a nut on there and broke another bolt, and it still hasn't moved yet. So I tried one more time and I broke another bolt. So I didn't break the weld, I broke the bolt. So I got some really good penetrating oil that I get from Tacoma Screw Products, and I sprayed a bunch of that on there, and I'm just hoping to God that I can that'll work. Usually it does. It's really good stuff. It works on exhaust. So anyhow, so I put the tires on and got the damn thing out of the shop and brought in another job. Part 2, the brakes feel really good, but it feels like the master cylinder is not good. So that'll probably be a phone call I'll be making tomorrow about getting the master cylinder put on it. That way it's safe. And I also noticed that the track bar, I think they call it the track bar or panhard rod, on the front has a bushing that's about this big and has a bolt in it that's about that big. And so when you accelerate and decelerate, it clunks and makes all sorts of damn noise. So I'm going to get that fixed up. And then depending on how much time I got and all that, we'll dive into some more stuff on it. But anyhow, I just wanted to wrap it up for today and let you guys know what had happened. I would have videoed it, but I got pretty upset at the at the drain plug and breaking bolts. It was definitely not G-rated, so I thought it better not to put that on here, just because it basically was just me spinning my wheels and getting really angry and not really much to watch. So anyhow, we'll be back on this thing tomorrow. I'll do another video and show you how I fix it, and we'll get into the panhard rod and probably the master cylinder and go from there. So anyhow, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure to hit the post notification. That way you don't miss anything. I still got 3 or 4 jobs lined up, ready to go. All sorts of interesting stuff to do. So I don't want you to miss anything. Anyhow, I appreciate you watching my videos, and have a great night, and peace.